Dear United Nations Association members, Mr. Mayor, Davis, students, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'm afraid that due to an important visit that is taking me outside of the United States, I'll not be able to be with you in person today. However, I'm happy that you allow me to address you today in this manner instead. I want to thank you very much for inviting me to do so today. United Nations Secretary General Mr. Ban Ki-moon often repeats that the United Nations is you. I think it's especially important to remember this on occasions like this one, when we are approaching the United Nations Day. And UN associations like yours play a critical role in ensuring that everybody, regardless of proximity to the United Nations, are kept abreast of what the United Nations is doing. This is obviously true also for UN association in Westchester, and I want to thank you for all the work you do to this effect. With 1.8 billion young people, this is the largest generation of youth the world has ever known. Access to education, employment, human rights, the threat of climate change, the challenges are enormous, but so are the possibilities, as long as we make sure not to fail this generation. The Secretary General has made working with and for young people one of his 5 priorities for his second term. Since taking office earlier this year as the first ever Envoy in Youth, I have been working to harmonize the UN's work in youth issues across this big system and to advocate for more investments in youth development. Concretely, as the UN Envoy in Youth, I will address the needs of youth around the world in several different ways with the rest of this United Nations system. First of all, I will be serving as a global advocate for youth issues. Here, media, both traditional and the new media, play a critical role, as do networks and partnerships, such as the one we have with the United Nations associations around the world. Secondly, I work to promote the empowerment of youth and youth-led organizations. I encourage the development of mechanisms for young people to participate in the work of the United Nations. This includes partnerships for the post-2015 UN Development Agenda and political and economic processes at the national, regional, and the global levels, with a special focus on the most marginalized and vulnerable youth and young women and girls. Thirdly, I collaborate with other parts of the UN system through the Interagency Network in Youth Development in developing and implementing what we call it in the UN System-Wide Action Plan in Youth. This means an increased youth focus in existing UN programs at all levels, guided by the World Programme of Action for Youth, which was endorsed by all member states in 1995. Priority areas have been identified by the Secretary General of the United Nations in his 5-year action agenda. Our priority areas are employment, entrepreneurship, political inclusion, citizenship and protection of rights, health, education, including sexual and reproductive health. Fourthly, it's also my task to encourage governments to develop and further support young people's engagement through promotion of national youth policies. Finally, I'm constantly working to ensure the integration of a gender perspective across all the work we do. I know that your theme today is celebrating international diversity in Westchester, partnerships for global progress. This makes me very pleased, as I'm convinced that in today's world, nobody can go or do it alone. As a wise man once said, if you want to go quickly and fast, go alone. But if you really want to go far, we should go together. In this spirit, I want to thank you very much for your invitation, and I want you to know that you can count on me as one of your partners and supporters. And now, and in the future, we will be able to go far if we go together. Thank you very much.